I would like to open this webisode with the subject of cancel culture. Whether you agree with it or not, it has riled up a great deal of conservative media all over the news and all over Facebook. It's almost like your friend's pregnancy post. You're not fucking escaping from Facebook without seeing at least one. Here is one at least example of outrage over cancel culture. See for yourself.
A new victim. Teen Vogue editor-in-chief Alexi McCammon forced out just days before even starting her new job after staffers revolted over derogatory tweets she wrote 10 years ago when she was a teenager. McCammon apologized for them in 2019 and then again when this scandal surfaced. Her old colleague at Axios, Jonathan Swan, saying things are getting out of hand.
I was just really sad to see this happen. I've worked with her for 4 years. She doesn't have a racist bone in her body. If we can't, as an industry, accept somebody's sincere and repeated apologies for something they tweeted when they were 17 years old, I mean, what are we doing?
Kaylee, I want to go to you first on this. To be clear, these were some of them tweets that she sent when she was 17. Does this just go too far?
Oh, absolutely, Sandra.
Now, I know that Fox News had painted that pretty badly, but if you look at the tweets real quick, you will see that they really, people were canceling her just, without merit. Take a look. It is a hot topic that I really believe gets overblown, misconstrued, and not really well analyzed. And so that is why I want to talk about it with you today. What cancel culture is, why it is, and is it ethical? Cancel culture to me is not really what it should be called. Instant pisser offer for boomers who probably were looking for something to yell at anyways. I mean, let's be real. It was either cancel culture or taking jabs at transgender people's preferred pronouns. Though I do love how, then this is true, because I have done it with a supervisor in the military. Stop a room when you address a man as a man, and hear the oohs and shit spring out. But then boomers and conservative fucks will all say gender pronouns don't matter, and they will state that as they beat their kids with a bag of onions because they didn't address them with sir when asking for a fucking cookie. No, but really though, cancel culture as defined by what I would say, the sassiest and hulkiest English teacher, Merriam-Webster, the practice or tendency of engaging in mass canceling as a way of expressing disapproval and exerting social pressure. Now, I believe that there are times cancel culture does go to the extreme, but here's the problem. Cancel culture needs to be rebranded as accountability culture. Like, I would love to be rebranded from being a stripper that has two backwards left feet, a dick that looks like the comma button on a keyboard, and who slides down the pole head first. Now, rehabilitation is the intent, and what I mean by that is it should be to rectify people's behaviors and how they fundamentally interact in society, so they are not being abusive or prejudicial, but leading to recovery while at the same time holding people accountable when they fuck up. Right now, if you talk about or say cancel culture, it's saturated in the grease of politics. And no, it is not grease to cook your vegetables in, Oklahomans, because the grease would be from a chimera of a rat, a possum, cockroach, and Mitch McConnell. God, you don't want to get the bubonic bigotry plague. The reason why conservatives are coming after this so hard is due to the fact that a large group of conservatives don't want to change. They don't want to have to learn and grow and be held accountable for the pervasive and offensive words and phrases that they use to express their bigotry thoughts with. In a recent poll from Politico, there was a question on whether people approve or disapprove of cancel culture, with 44% who don't approve at some level and 24% had no opinion. Another question asked whether cancel culture had a negative or positive impact on society, and 49% said negative and 24% said no opinion. And another question stated if they agreed that massive penguin orgies should be filmed and used to help sperm donors masturbate, and shockingly, 90% of the people said yes. Sick fucks. So a large portion of us don't really approve with cancel culture, though to be fair, this has been used by Christian groups too. In the 90s, as I paraphrase the Los Angeles Times, conservative groups such as the Pomona-based Focus on the Family, the Tupelo, Mississippi-based American Family Association, and others mobilized to put an end to what they view as indecent entertainment, enlisting the aid of the government, authorities at the local, state, and federal levels, and an ever-widening coalition of pro-family activists have put the arts community on notice that they tend to explore new creative tactics in their fight to squelch obscenity. Now, another example is from ABC News New York. It was in New York, sorry. Under pressure from conservative advocacy group, the Hallmark Channel has pulled ads for a wedding planning site that featured two brides kissing at the altar. Now, I'm not saying that every cancel culture crusade as of today is correct or not overboard, but conservatives saying this is a leftist attack and obviously can't find, cancel culture's right wrinkled with hoarded boxes of dead skin stored up in the attic testicle, with Trump and Candace Owens labeled prominently in the front. Now, I am going to focus a great deal of this video on Morgan Wallen, a country singer who was topping the charts till this happened.
Take care of this pussy. Hey, actually, hey, y'all too? Hey, take care of this pussy ass motherfucker. Oh, fuck. Hey, Gracie, take care of this pussy ass man.
Now I know it looks bad, and it really is, but he did face consequences like his record label suspending his contract indefinitely, as well as his music being pulled from over 400 radio stations. Kelsey Ballerini stated that this wasn't even what country music stands for, and Marie Morris then replies, "Nah, girl, one-horse towns that blare country music up, call even black dogs all the N-words and tell them to go back home to Doggy Bone Town. We all know black dogs are from the same place as all other colored or non-colored dogs, like Piss on the Flowers Town and Lick in the Direction of Balls to Asshole City." Now, Marie Morris didn't quite say all that, but she did say that country music does have conservative extremist problems, and that Morgan Wallen had been known for this behavior, and it's been known for some time. Now, to my knowledge, no one else has said, or, that they corroborated that. But my fucking god, that word slid off his tongue like it was dipped in bacon grease sliding into Grandpa's grits, that we all know he was gonna make it a little extra creamy with some fresh squeezed bulges. I don't know if either of those are true, but I do know that country music has racist and homophobic roots. I have commented on country Facebook pages, and I have literally had someone screenshot my profile that had me and my ex putting our heads together and said, "This is the problem." Another said, gay affection and sex should be done in the dark, away in a basement, away from everybody. Like, it's shameful. Now, as our picture was cheesy. Was it too cheesy for a macaroni? Maybe. I don't know what that means, so I'll let you decide and use that phrase as some down-to-earth country breakup song. You and me, we've been through the muck, but now our macaroni is too cheesy, damn babe. Yuck. Baby, come back to me in my pickup truck. Anyway, so yes, consequences happened, but people defended the hell out of him, like it was fucking everywhere. You couldn't escape the comment section without his bullets somehow popping up. I felt like it was going to pull a Doctor Who villain from the Stone Angels and teleport me back to the 90s and suck the life out of my potential future. They stated that a word shouldn't ruin a man's life, and it was just a word. Though when you say it's just a word, it would be like if I said it was just a fucking song when Kaepernick took a brave fucking knee, which I will say, it was brave, and I support him 100%. But white symbols are respected a little more in this country than any other ethnicities. Like how schools with vast portion of minority schools were barely scraping by, and predominantly white schools could take you back in time with a time machine to when Thomas Jefferson was raping his slaves. And the teacher then says, "Oh, boys and girls, see how she wore her skirt 3 inches off the ground instead of the standard 1 inch. So in a way, she was asking for it. He was just a product of his time." And you see, if the teacher were to fall in a vat of liquid Viagra and he screamed in pain as his dick was swelling up to be, a few feet in length, I would reach over and pop with a needle every single bulging vein of his dick and say, "You were screaming like a little bitch. You were asking for it." So we have both sides here. Now, let us dissect what happened. And I know this is weird coming from a white guy, but I empathize from when I have been called a faggot directly. Like when me and my boyfriend were walking down the street in North Carolina and it was yelled out by an asshole in a passing vehicle. Interesting state that one is. Then I was in a group with my friends, and a random asshole called my group a faggot. So, faggots. Though I am not sure what he was expecting. He was in California, at the gay district of Sacramento, where they literally have the crosswalks and rainbow. How the fuck did he not know? Then I was and that would be like showing up at an ice cream social and getting mad at all the ice cream that your grandma made because you're lactose intolerant. Your grandma would probably just take you out back and shoot you. I'm putting you out of your misery, my little fluffle pumpkin. I'll cut the skin off your face and stitch it onto one of my throw pillows that your mama likes to use. So anyways, and then on Grindr, where I was called an evil faggot. And if you don't know what Grindr is, it is kind of like Tinder, but your first message isn't so much "what's up" then a dick pic. And if any straight says Tinder is just like Grindr, they have never fucking been on Grindr. Some dick pics, they haunt you. They haunt you worse than exorcisms from The Conjuring. They look like mimes in comparison. So the only modes of communication left that I need to have been called a faggot through are the mail, over a call, or on the side of a milk carton. Wouldn't that be an awkward interaction if we still had a milkman and he handed me that week's milk, which read my name and said after is a faggot? The only thing that would be weirder is if I was naked getting sucked off by my dog, which was foaming at the mouth because of rabies. The rabies is what gives the orgasm that extra little bit of a bite. So let's go on and say he said faggot. Now, listening and putting this into context as we do, from what I can tell, he didn't direct it towards a homosexual. He wasn't using it to refer to a homosexual. He was just saying it like you would say when you're late at the club. Come on, bitches, get in the car. Ready to get my dick sucked in the bathroom. So he just threw it out like there would, like he would bitches, or fucker, or Mitch McConnell, the blower of dino dust. Typical phrases. So, was it bad? Yes, it was horrific. But I don't think it should have been a career ender. I think that the punishment was pretty fitting since he was also withdrew from consideration for awards this year. Now, I do want to say if this behavior has been not a one-off, like Maureen Morris said, and he has been acting this way for some time, then okay, maybe he needs to be held a little more accountable. But going off that one video, I think we can say justice was done. Now, people like to defend it by saying, well, hip-hop songs say the word all the time. Why can't he? And I would like to say, they were people of color. And he the fuck wasn't. That would be like if someone wore a Karen haircut who wasn't white and asked for the manager after screaming about drinking something she didn't know had caffeine. Something like, I don't know, espresso, and asking how did that end up in her latte. Now that would be appropriation. I, though, would like to give a serious answer and say it was because taking back a word that was used to oppress you gives a sense of power. It is a sign or shift of cultural change that lets us minorities relate to one another of shared pain that word caused. So when someone who isn't in the group uses the word, it is automatically oppressive. And even if someone who was gay called me a faggot because they were truly angry, I will get pissed because not only is it about who says it, but the tone and intent. So if you use it for oppression, then I will say, go fucking outlet, you asshole. To put it in perspective, it would be like if civilians made jokes about service members or veterans. That would be awkward and wrong. But luckily, sitting before you today is a veteran, and I will literally tell you that if Marines are getting lube, it is not for women. Trust me, it's for his and another man's asshole, where he will be eating camouflage-colored, crayon-drizzled dick. Now, I do have to point out, people who are wanting to cancel Morgan will have to go after all of the fucking rappers who said faggot and not in the, yay, it's Pride and we support you way. So we need to take responsibility in the power of canceling and how we cancel and who we cancel. When we cancel somebody, we need to take, a look at how egregious and how long ago it was. Has this person changed? And does this seem like a pattern? Was it intentional or just from ignorance? There are some comments from the past that are really hard to come back from, though. It would be like if someone said to the cops, hey, I know that guy killed somebody a while ago and you're just finding out about it, but he was eating sushi, texting his girlfriend, asking her if she wanted to watch Big Brother that night, and he just accidentally swerved and tapped the spine out of the victim's body. That was so long ago, who cares, right? Right? And if it's out of ignorance, I get that. It can be easy to get enraged, but we all need to realize that we can empathize with people, but we will never be able to walk in their shoes. So to a certain extent, you will always be somewhat ignorant. That doesn't mean you can't learn and educate yourself and do research, and that you shouldn't do it, because you very well fucking should. And I'm not giving permission for Christian groups to take over the pro-choice banner and assume it to mean it's in regards to gays and never look it up. But we should be compassionate while we hold people accountable. That's like my dad who thought I was mainly a top. No, 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 no. I'm a top like Little Nas getting baptized in the conservatives' bathtub, who dunked on him kind of top. And I'm a bottom like Little Nas not giving a fuck about homophobic pube hair bleaching, renting out the recently scalped wigs to hair lice, because why not, it's capitalism, kind of conservatives and their comments. Now, I do want to point out, anyone who makes fun of cancel culture or says it's stupid, obviously hasn't paid attention to the jokes from the past concerning minorities. Take, for instance, the queer community. Like, faggots aren't allowed to look at my ass while I'm on stage, before claiming straight men could get AIDS from their girlfriends kissing gay men. Hashtag Eddie Murphy. That's what I learned. The month of June is Gay Pride Month. That's a little long, don't you think, for a group of people that were never enslaved? Courtesy of Bill Burr. Yeah, so, notes. No, you can't get AIDS just by kissing someone. And, I'm not sure who decided what groups meet the historic suffering from oppression month status, but it sure fucking shouldn't be a middle-aged straight white man who looks like he was born from a pit of deranged llamas on ecstasy in the middle of a fucking orgy. But this last one is truly the fucking icing of the cake. Take a look.
About cops is the mirrored glasses. This way I could comb my hair so right out the ticket, so it ain't that bad. I don't see too many faggots in Philly, you know. Out in L.A., Manhattan, you got them all over the place. Brooklyn, we don't have any gay people. They're all dead. All we got is a big sign that says, "Welcome to Brooklyn, fourth largest city in America," with this dead fag hanging off the pole. They're not from this planet, let's face it. I don't see how any man could look at another guy's hairy ass and want to bang it, you know? I see a guy with a hairy ass, I want to give it a wash and blow dry, that's the extent. They're not from this planet, they're from Faggotron, come on.
Dead fags hanging off the poles. Yeah, so you can see why, you can't sit there to my face and tell me that cancel culture just came out of nowhere and it is stupid and unjustifiable, because shit like this was made acceptable by society. And the people weren't made culpable. And I'm not someone who is easily offended. I'm really not. But when you make jokes that depreciate and are derivative, unintelligent, and downright oppressive to minorities and women by spreading misinformation and mocking the existence and promoting violence, then yeah, I can with a full conscience tell you to go fuck off and you're not funny. You can make gay jokes, and that's okay. Just make them fucking tasteful. Now, this is where comedians will sometimes fuck up in the gray area, and I understand. Cancel culture, or what I like to call accountability culture, needs to let comedians make mistakes, but hold their feet to the fucking fire. If they make super offensive jokes all the time, then yeah, cancel them. That is literally what capitalism is all about. You don't like a product, choose a different one. But if it's, a one-off, or, it's borderline, maybe just give a slap on the wrist. And just because cancel culture goes after someone doesn't mean their career has ended. For instance, Kevin Hart, when he said if he found out that his son was gay, he would smash a Barbie doll house on him. Yes, that was offensive. I mean, fuck yeah. But really though, out of all the things you would be afraid of your dad doing to you if you came out to him, that one I would have never guessed. That would be like if your dad outright said, if you ever came out as gay, I'd throw Mary Kay at you. But son, don't tell your mom who I got the Mary Kay for unless she asks. Then it's definitely for her. But let's take a side quest real quick and try to imagine if you were one of Kevin Hart's sons who was trying to come out to his father as gay. Could you imagine how crushing it would be to hear that joke? It wouldn't feel like a joke. And that goes for all the sons or daughters who watch their parents laugh at the skit and maybe agree or even say true as a response. But besides that, Kevin Hart didn't have his career taken away. I mean, he didn't get to host the Oscars. But I mean, that joke was wrong, even if it was from a long time ago. Though we do need to keep in mind when people make those jokes. Everyone has made mistakes, and we should take that into consideration. We can look at the star Gina Carano. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry. She may have been fired, but she is possibly making a comeback and has a huge following now. So in the end, it's a complex issue that is being painted as leftist or ridiculous, when in all reality, it's a natural byproduct of having the internet where it records what people say forever, and people wanting to stop bigotry in society. It is my true belief that we really need to reform and rebrand cancel culture into something that is more productive like accountability culture. But we also need to defend it, because there is groups of people standing up to celebrities and other powerful people and holding their bullshit up to scrutiny. And if I believe in anything, it is sticking the donkey's tail into the mouths of assholes. Thank you for watching. See you next time.